All right, good evening, everybody. It is 7 o'clock on the dot, so I do not want to waste any more time. I want to jump right into our final edition of the Family Summer Series. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I know we still have some folks logging on, and that's perfectly fine. But like I said, we have lots to talk about, and so I want to make sure that we have plenty of opportunity to get through as many of your questions as we possibly can, while also hearing from our fantastic panelists who have graciously joined us tonight. My name is Adam White. I work for the University of Tennessee in the Office of New Student Orientation, and will be moderating tonight's show, I guess you could call it. And so excited to be here and chatting with all of you. Before I allow the panelists to introduce themselves, I want to go ahead and let everybody know how tonight's session is going to work. It's all about hearing from you and answering your questions, and like I said, trying to get through as many of them as we possibly can. So please, please, please ask those questions in the chat feature below, because we're gonna get to them. And if we don't get to them on air, we have a fantastic team behind the scenes who will be responding to questions via the chat. So be on the lookout for that. So even if we don't get to it here on air, we'll make sure to get you an answer in the chat. So don't close the box after you ask your question. Tonight's topic is kind of just a general getting kind of ready for Rocky Top, right? Move-in is just a really few days away. Maybe a couple more days for some folks, but it's right around the corner. And so we know folks are anxiously awaiting their time to arrive on Rocky Top and are excited to take that next step. And we can't wait to welcome them on campus here very soon. Now, I want to get to our panelists, the real stars of tonight's show, and I want to allow them each to have the opportunity to introduce themselves. If you could just please provide your name and who you're representing tonight, and a little bit about yourself, whatever you feel like sharing, that would be great. Mary Leslie, if you wouldn't mind kicking us off, I'd appreciate it.
I would love to. Hey, everyone. My name is Mary Leslie Patterson. I am the marketing director with Vol Dining, and I am also the proud parent of 2 UT graduates.
Outstanding. Thanks, Mary Leslie. Sue Ann, how about you?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sue Ann Glauer. I'm coming to you from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. My husband, Don, and I just finished our term as the UT Parents Council chairs, and we are the proud parents of a May 2021 graduate from the UT College of Nursing who just started her nursing career at Duke Hospital.
That's really awesome. Congrats to you and your family, Sue Ann. Thanks for sharing. Dr. Miles.
My name is Joe Miles. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Psychology, and I'm looking forward to welcoming you all back to campus.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here. Carrie Hensley.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Hensley. I work in the Office of New Student Orientation as the Assistant Director. I oversee the Big Orange Welcome schedule and all the fun activities that y'all are going to be getting to hear about tonight.
Thanks, Carrie. And last but not least, we have Mr. Tonio Harris joining us. Tonio.
Hey, everyone. My name's Antonio Harris. I'm a senior here at UT majoring in chemistry, and I'm also a team leader who works for the New Student Orientation Office.
Thanks, Tonio. Excited to get your perspective as a current UT student. Appreciate you taking the time to be here. I want to allow folks to have the chance to ask us questions. So please put those questions in the chat. Like I said, we'll be responding to some within the chat itself, or others we'll be talking about here on the screen. So to allow folks enough time to do so, I want to go ahead and just pose a very general question to a couple of our panelists. It's been quite the year, and I don't know about you, I'm very excited about this upcoming fall and having students on campus. And I have a feeling that a lot of you all are as well. Dr. Miles, just if you could shed a little bit of light on, what are you most excited about this upcoming school year?
Sorry, I couldn't get on
There you
mute.
go.
I'm just excited to have students back on campus. I think that it's been a long time since we've all been together, and I think that at the start of a new school year, it's just exciting to get to meet the new students and to work with them in the classroom. As a psychology professor, we also do research with students, so getting to have a little bit more intimate relationships with students. So I'm just excited to work with students again and get things going.
Absolutely. I have a feeling a lot of the other faculty on campus probably have similar feelings there.
Sure.
Mary Leslie, what are you most excited about for this upcoming school year?
I am super excited to have students back on campus. We've missed them. We can't wait to see them again. We have a new dining hall that's opening, and it'll be open on Monday, August 16th, and ready to serve the students. And we have a new really cool brand that we're bringing to campus called Blends Bowls, which is smoothie and acai bowls. That'll be over in the student union. And we're
Whoa.
just super excited to see everybody. Can't wait.
Thanks, Mary Leslie. I'm going to need you to later on tonight. I need to hear more about the Blends Bowls. I think that sounds awesome. And yeah, the new dining facility is beautiful. Can't wait for the students to see it. Sue Ann, I know you might not have a current student at UT, but it sounds like having a student who just graduated and probably went through an interesting senior year. What would you say you're just most excited about for this upcoming year for our new family members who might be just joining the UT family?
Oh my gosh, there are so many things about UT that I could fill the entire hour and not let anyone else speak. I think just the genuine generosity of spirit and heart that pervades the campus at UT, from the dining hall to One Stop to the woman that I worked with for 4 years in the office that handled our tuition benefit from Duke, that we developed a relationship with via email over 4 years. I've never met her. Just those warm relationships that I feel that parents develop with folks at UT, as well as the students develop with their professors and with staff members. And I can't say enough about the Office of the Dean of Students, because that was with whom we worked most regularly as members of the Parents Council, and the programming there that was just that extended to every population of student imaginable. So that's what I'm most excited about for. And because I love UT so much, I'm going to be there next week to help with some of the orientation activities. So I'm looking forward to it. My daughter said to me, "Mom, you're going back to Knoxville?" I said, "Yes, I am going back to Knoxville."
You just can't get enough. Can't get enough. Well, we're glad you're coming back, Sue Ann. Thanks for that. Carrie, Tony, I want to give you all a chance to respond to some questions here in a minute, but we have a bunch of great questions coming through. So I want to go ahead and pivot to that direction. Mary Leslie, I'm going to tee you up first here. We have a couple of great dining questions that have popped into the chat, if you wouldn't mind speaking on a little bit. First and foremost, where can students eat before dining halls open? So we know that there's a certain date that the dining halls will open and students can start using their meal plan. And what are your recommendations for students when it comes to meals just before that time?
Thank you, Adam. I would recommend that students go to our website. It's ut.campusdish.com and check the hours of operation. Hours of operation for move-in weekend and for the first move-in week of school will be posted tomorrow. So I would encourage everyone to go there tomorrow morning and look at the hours of operation.
Outstanding. Thanks so much, Mary Leslie. Hey, Tonio, I want to get your thoughts real quick. You've been on campus a bunch, right? You said you're a senior, so you've been here for a few years. What's your perspective as a student when it comes to just finding food early on, in that initial kind of move-in window? Is it pretty easy? Are there a lot of options, before the dining halls open up?
Yes, it's usually like a whole lot of different options, like even before dining halls open up. Of course, we have the entire strip that's like full of food options that you always can go to. And usually, even like during this process, like for Big Orange Welcome, it's usually like organizations and other orgs on campus who want to get to know more students as they come and pass out food. But food is not a worry at all. There's always going to be something to eat.
Tonio, thanks so much. Mary Leslie, while we're on the topic, I want to go ahead and bring this one to you, and then we're going to get to some other topics. But what in general would you say are, the availability for students to utilize their meal plans on campus? You know, are there certain times? Is there always, you know, in the morning, afternoon, night, is there always something for students for the most part to go to on campus to find something to eat?
Yes, always. The dining halls have continuous dining, so there's always food from the time we open to the time we close. You know, we have a unique feature here called meal equivalency. So if you have a meal plan with meals that come with it, you can choose not to go to the dining hall, but still be able to use your meal at one of the national brands on campus. And those locations and the hours are posted. So there's always something to eat and somewhere to go with dining on campus.
Outstanding. Thanks, Mary Leslie. Carrie.
Thank you.
Hi, Carrie. I know you mentioned that you manage the Big Orange Welcome schedule. I was hoping you could just share generally, you know, what is Big Orange Welcome for those who maybe haven't quite heard. Hopefully you have by now, and you know, how folks, family members can get more information on it, and where they can encourage their students to go to learn more about our upcoming programs.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. So Big Orange Welcome is our actual in-person orientation programming. So of course, your student has already gone through their virtual advising with their advisor, and hopefully has done their pre-online orientation and gone through the modules and learned a lot about our institution before they get here. But when they get here, so we have tons of events happening all next week, but our mandatory events actually will start as early as August 14th. But those events that are starting on the 14th will be done several times. So we have some sessions that are going to be 14 different times throughout those first 4 days before classes start. We're trying to offer opportunities for students to, you know, maximize that time. And so if they can't make one, they can hopefully make one of the 14 that we have. We are offering it multiple times, multiple days. We also are offering 2 virtual sessions for that specific program. It's called Be Smart, Be Safe, Be Evolve. Another session that we're doing is academic success. That's another required event, and that's also being done 8 different times on the 15th and then also on the 17th. So there's also a ton of opportunities to attend that session. It will also be virtual on the 17th as well. So there's tons of opportunities for students to still go to those required events, even if they are moving in on the 16th, for instance. We do have several required events that are going to be our like Nouveau picnic. We also have Playfair, which is going to be on the 15th. Then we have Torch Night. It's going to be on the 16th. Torch Night is one of our really special ceremonies where our senior SGA president will pass the torch down to our first year class. It's very emotional. It's going to be in Neyland this year, which is super important because it's our centennial for Neyland. So it's an event that your student definitely doesn't want to miss for sure. So Big Orange Welcome is our in-person orientation that allows students to get acclimated to campus while they're on campus. So instead of orientation throughout the summer where students might forget things from June all the way to August, we actually are helping them get acclimated as they arrive on campus and walk them through those first 6 weeks. Data has shown that the first 6 weeks is one of the most crucial times for students to really make sure that they find their home at that institution. So this is a great opportunity for students to get involved, meet student org, like Antonio was saying, as well as get a chance to just actually be there and work on their meal plan. You know, like instead of trying to teach you about your meal plan in June, we actually get to teach you while you're at the dining hall and swiping, and we get to walk you through those things. We'll have orientation leaders throughout helping you with those different activities. So yeah.
Carrie, thanks. That's a ton of great information. I would just kind of follow up with that and just recommend family members that you encourage your student to download the Vol Life app. They should have received some information this week about how to go about doing that. And that's where everything lives. So all the awesome events that Carrie just talked about and plus hundreds more, all going to live right there. Obviously, it's free for students to access. And I'd encourage them and yourselves as well to take your time and combing through the schedule and just identifying different things that just might stick out and seem really exciting for your student to participate in during those first 6 weeks. Like Carrie said, there are some required pieces that are going to have its own tab right in the app that says required events. Just make sure to take a close look at that. Like Carrie said, a lot of the events, required events that are taking place early on, like let's say on the 14th, are happening like multiple times over the course of the next day. So if you see that on the 14th, there's required events, and maybe some students aren't moving into the 15th or the 16th, it's okay. Don't panic because those same required sessions will be taking place, the coming day. So your student will be able to participate in those at a later time. All right, let's see what we got here. Dr. Miles, I want to go back to you here. And I know you mentioned you're a faculty member in our psychology department. From your perspective, what is something that you would recommend for our new family members at this point, as maybe their students are starting to feel even more anxious or even nervous about kicking off their academic journey at UT? Is there anything that comes to mind for you to just maybe help students feel more confident starting their collegiate journey, if you will?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think at this point, hopefully you've all met with advisors and have your schedules all set. Perhaps there are classes that you didn't get, so I'd make sure that you stay on a wait list. If there are classes that you really wanted to get in, stay on a wait list, and maybe even reach out to the faculty member, because sometimes they have the ability to get you in. Sometimes they don't. Reach out to the faculty member. When you get your syllabi, I would be sure to review it, make sure you're familiar with the assignments, ask questions. We're happy to answer questions, so ask questions. And I guess the other thing I would say at this point, just be looking at what are the required texts that you need, how are you going to secure those for yourself. Once you arrive on campus, I would recommend that you familiarize yourself with our wonderful Office of Dean of Students, all of the resources that we have on campus, and also meet your faculty. We all have office hours. I love it when students come and chat with me about psychology, about class. It doesn't have to be directly related to class. I'm happy to talk about professional development, what it's like to be a psychologist, how you go to grad school, all of those things. So use your office hours and meet your faculty, and we love to talk to you all.
Thanks so much. That's great insight. I appreciate it. And the one thing that you mentioned stuck out to me about meeting your faculty and getting engaged just with your college early on. Carrie, correct me if I'm wrong. There is an event on the Big Orange Welcome schedule. I believe it's called College Connect. Can you just briefly talk about that? And I think that goes along really well with what Dr. Miles was mentioning.
Yeah, absolutely. So every academic college will have something called College Connect on the morning of August 17th. There are various times, various locations based on your academic college. So make sure you check out the Big Orange Welcome schedule for that. But during that event, you'll basically meet a lot of students who are within your college, along with also in your major, and then you'll also get to meet a lot of your faculty and advisors during that time as well.
Absolutely. And those events are just drop in. So, Carrie, I don't know if you just mentioned that, but just, you'll see the time on your schedule. And so don't feel like you have to go right at the beginning. You can definitely come and go as you please to make room for other things that you might have to do during those times. I know it can be a little bit busy. Sue-Ann, I want to talk to you for a minute. I know you mentioned you're going to be in Knoxville here real soon, and you're going to be interacting on campus with our new family members and working some orientation programming. What would be kind of something that you would encourage, or I guess a piece of advice you might have for our new family members once they're on campus, whether they're doing family orientation programming or not? How do you recommend they best kind of get to know the campus or the area and just become one with the UT community in maybe what might be a short period of time?
Well, I would suggest that to get to know the campus, best way to do that is to walk around. It's such a beautiful campus and so eminently walkable. And then the second thing I would do is hop in the car, get downtown, park in the Market Street parking garage, and walk around Market Square. And make sure you get yourself some Cruise Farm ice cream and just walk around downtown and get to know what it's like to be in a really thriving downtown, small city, but yet a really nice town gown connection. As I said earlier, I live in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, another really prominent university town. And I very rarely go downtown, but I don't feel that way about Knoxville. Every time we visited our daughter in Knoxville, we made a point of going into downtown Knoxville for the restaurants and just to walk around because it has such a nice city feel to it. And my daughter in her last 2 years lived within walking distance of downtown Knoxville. So it was really easy. So many other things to do. Take a drive outside of Knoxville, even along Kingston Kingston Pike, there's lots of shopping out that way. Also for folks that need to pick up things that they need for their students. I can't say enough what a lovely, lovely area Knoxville is to have your student go to school. And I know that it's true because we have so many students incoming from the Chicagoland area, from Texas, from Oregon, North Carolina, Georgia. So I know that Knoxville is really making its mark with students and their families. So get out there and just explore. We had 4 wonderful years there. If we weren't so entrenched in North Carolina, I think we would actually look at moving to Knoxville.
We'd love to have you, Sue Ann. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that perspective, and I don't think anybody could have said it any better. So thank you. Mary Leslie, I want to go back to you if you don't mind. I have a question here about just allergies. Their student has some allergies, and so what do you recommend our family members and our students do to prepare for life on campus if they do have some sort of allergy, food allergy, if you will?
Okay. First of all, we work with lots of students throughout the semesters with dietary needs, food allergies, and other dietary needs. First of all, we have a dietitian on staff who would be happy to meet with your student either virtually or one-on-one, who can walk you through the different options that are available if you have a peanut allergy, gluten allergy, whatever it might be. We also, in the new dining hall, have a station called True Balance. And what True Balance is, it answers 8 of the top food allergens at that station. So it's peanuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, gluten, dairy, eggs, and there's one more. I always miss the last one, but it covers 8 of those top food allergies. And it's a really cool place because everything is prepared in that station. It eliminates cross-contamination. All of the dishware is different. The serving utensils are color-coded differently. The warewashing is separate there. So everything is, the items are prepared there. The dishes are washed there. It's totally separate from the other stations on campus. And it's kind of like a safe zone for students with dietary needs. But the other thing to let you know too is on our Campus Dish website, the menu should be posted starting on Monday, and you can go in and you can see what the recipe is for each item that's being served. So you can look through it, see if it contains nuts, if it contains gluten, whatever your food allergy might be. So we're excited to have the dietitian on campus, and she is a UT grad. But please call us, reach out to us. We're here to help, and we'll answer any of your questions.
Thanks, Mary Leslie. Hey, Tonio, I want to get your thoughts on something here. We had somebody ask in the chat, how often do students go to downtown Knox or Market Square, places like that are, maybe nearby campus, but not specifically on campus?
Well, downtown is honestly, it's pretty close. It's literally just go straight down Cumberland. You just run straight into Gay Street. So it's really nice. Usually a lot of students go there on the weekend, just kind of wind down from classes from during the week and hang out. They have a lot of food places there, like Cruise. They also have Kilwin's ice cream there. It's a bowling alley down there too. They also have the movie theater and the Tennessee, I can't think of the name of it.
The theater?
But Tennessee Theater. They also have that down there, and it's also a coffee shop down there also. So it's a lot of things you can also always do downtown. So
is it easy to? Oh, sorry, Tony, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Is it pretty easy and accessible for students to get downtown, but if they don't have a car or don't want to drive to that neck of the woods? Is there transportation on campus or within the city that's available for them?
Yes, we have the trolley system that comes through UT and also takes them downtown. So it takes you the street just right before Gay Street, and it's honestly a 2-second walk there. So you always have a wait there. Most students usually take the trolley because it's easier transportation, so you don't have to deal with parking and things of that nature.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate it. Dr. Miles, I'm just kind of going popcorn style here because we got some really good ones and there are lots of different topics. So bear with me, and panelists, thanks for your flexibility. Dr. Miles, I got one here. I was hoping you could talk a little about just textbooks in general. I know you mentioned it earlier that you recommend that they're starting to explore what books they might need. In your opinion, is it important for students to get all the books right out of the gate, or are you okay if students wait to maybe after the first week to get a feel for the class and determine what the best kind of avenue is for them when it comes to the textbook?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. At this point, the books should be ordered through the bookstore on the professor's end. The deadline for us to order books is actually pretty early, so we get that set. So the information's all in the bookstore. That doesn't mean you have to buy them from the bookstore, but you can see what the required textbooks are. For me personally, and I can only speak for myself, when I start an undergraduate class, I have some awareness that students may not have the book yet. So if there's a class or two where they haven't gotten the book yet, or maybe they've ordered it and it hasn't shown up, I give them some leeway for that. But when the book's already listed in the bookstore, I mean, that is going to be the book and it won't change. So if you feel ready to go ahead and purchase the book, that's great. But for me, I do give a little bit of leeway. And I see someone else asked a question about inclusive access. And it said, are all required books and things on inclusive access? Someone else might have a better information about this, but I would say that from the perspective of when I order books, I ask them sometimes, the bookstore, if it is available. So I don't think that everything is, but I think that the bookstore does try to work with work to get things that are on inclusive access to the extent that they can.
Outstanding. Lots of good information there. I appreciate you sharing. Hey, Carrie, do you mind if I throw it back to you here? I know you shared a lot about Big Orange Welcome earlier. You talked a lot about some of the required events and some of our signature events. What would be your recommendation for a student who wants to kind of get to know campus, maybe wants to find out where their classes are going to be? Do we have anything like that on the schedule where we can help students kind of not just like get a tour of campus, but really get like a hands-on idea of where the heck they have to go that first couple of days to get from one class to another?
Yeah, absolutely. So our orientation leaders will be doing an event called Mapping Your Classes. It'll be on the 17th from 1 to 4, where our OLs will literally basically split up into take groups of small, like 15 to 20 people, and walk them to their classes, and not just the building and to point it out, but they'll actually walk them in and kind of give them a layout of the building so that make sure that they know, like, if it has a weird layout, for instance, G32, well, where is G32? Is it on the ground floor? Is it not on the ground floor? Our orientation leaders will be helping students with that. And so you can find that on the Big Orange Welcome schedule as well.
And Carrie, thanks for that. And I would say that even if you don't want to join up with an orientation leader, find a friend and just go walk around it and find those things together prior to the start of classes. I know back when I was in school, I made the mistake of not doing that a couple of times, and I have very vivid memories in my mind going off right now of me walking into the wrong classroom and not even the right building. And quickly, frantically trying to get across campus. So I'm not too late to class. So I'm really excited that we have that event happening for Big Orange Welcome for our new students. But again, even if you don't want to participate in that, still go out and get as acclimated as you can prior to classes kicking off. All right. Mary Leslie, I have a question here, and there's actually probably a couple of questions just about the meal plan in general. I know that's a popular one, and it's kind of always a popular one probably for you and your team throughout the year. A question about just like using the meal dollars, and if it's flexible, and if they can use dollars from the morning, if they can use it at a different location later on in the day. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to interpret the question a little bit.
It does.
You kind of know what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah, I read the question too.
Okay, great.
We encourage students to use their meal plan meals, the meals that come with your meal plan in the dining halls, right? And if your student is on the unlimited plan, the unlimited 7 or the unlimited 5, they literally have unlimited access to the dining halls. So when the dining halls are open, they could come in there 20 times if they want to. Come in, grab a snack, have a full meal, come back, get dessert. Just continuously, it's continuous dining. If they know that they're going to miss a meal, let's say it's Wednesday night and all their friends are going to Chick-fil-A and they know they're going to miss that Wednesday dinner meal, then we encourage them to definitely use their meal equivalency and it's $5 is the meal equivalency right now. And so it works just the same as ordering your regular meal from Chick-fil-A. So let's say you order a Chick-fil-A sandwich, fries, and a milkshake, and the total is, let's make it up, it's $7.50. The cashier will prompt the student and say, how would you like to pay? They would say, I'd like to use my meal, and they would swipe the actually we don't swipe anymore. They'd tap their card or their phone, and then $5 would come off the total, and then the student can pay the remainder either with dining dollars or with credit. And then as far as the dining dollars go, they can be used all over campus. So they spend just like cash. You can reload them. I caution parents not to load too many dining dollars in the spring, because they do not roll over from spring to fall. But there's a lot of flexibility. We are going to be posting little videos on Instagram and on Facebook telling students how to use their meal plan, because we definitely want them to maximize the use of their plan. They can use their dining dollars in the pod markets. We have, I believe, 12 pod markets, which are like convenience stores on campus. So if they are on the way to class, they can use their meal equivalency there to get, breakfast. They can, if they're in a hurry, they can get lunch or dinner, with their meal equivalency, and also spend their dining dollars there also. So there are lots of options. Did I answer your question?
You did. No,
Okay.
you did. And some. Again, I know it's a popular one, so I appreciate you going over that again. And I know the wonderful dining team is going to be out and about during move-in as well at different places, and wanting to interact with you family members and students, of course, as well, to help shed some more light on those types of questions. So don't hesitate to stop and say hello to Mary Leslie and her team when you see them around campus here in the coming days. Let's see here. Bear with us as we kind of sift through things. Dr. Miles, I want to go back to you. You mentioned something in your introduction, and I was hoping I could circle back to it, because I think it's a really great topic. And you talked about research, and I would imagine you yourself participate in research with our fantastic undergraduate students. If we have students who might be interested, so we have family members who are listening tonight, and they know, like, my student would just love to do undergraduate research within their major. Is it too early to start, that process their first semester? How do you recommend, or what do you recommend students do who know they're for sure going to be interested in doing some sort of research during their time at UT?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't think it's too early to get involved in research. I think in my own field of psychology, I think that research is a big part of what we do. In our department, we have something called Psych 489, which is a class that students register for, which is supervised research. And the way in which students go about getting enrolled in that is what I would recommend is to look at a web page for a department, whatever your department is, and look at what the faculty do. What is the specific type of research that they do, and what kind of fits with your interests? So for example, I study group psychotherapy and multicultural psychology, and so if you went to the Department of Psychology website and looked at the research that I do, and you think, oh, that looks really interesting, I would reach out to that person and send them an email and say, hey, I'm really interested in your research on such and such topic, and I'm wondering if you have any availability for students to do, in this case, it would be a Psych 489. I would imagine that probably most departments have similar sort of supervised research experiences or something similar to that. So that's what I would do, is kind of look and see what fits with your interests, what are you interested in, and then reach out to that person. They may say, no, I don't have the ability for that right now, but I think a lot of us are often looking for people to help us out with our research.
Thanks so much. Like I said, I knew you mentioned it and it stuck out. I was like, I wanted to make sure we got a chance to shed some light on undergraduate research, which I know is so important and also popular at UT for so many of our students. Tonio, hey, I want to get your thoughts real quick. Carrie, again, has talked a lot about Big Orange Welcome and all the events that are going to be taking place over the first 6 weeks, some required early on, a lot of them optional, after the start of classes. And just, if you take one look at the Vol Life app, you download the Big Orange Welcome schedule, you just kind of sift through it. It's a lot, right? And it's really exciting, but can be a little overwhelming for students as well. What's your recommendation as somebody who's gone through, this kind of transition to UT somewhat recently, for students at this point, as our family members are listening and they're wanting to share some pieces of advice to them before leaving them for, after they move them in. Yeah, what are your pieces of advice to help our students feel more just comfortable knowing that they're going to be taken care of once they're on campus? I kind of rambled there. I apologize, but I hope you got the gist of my question.
Yeah. So you're just asking like kind of advice about just like, as students come on campus, like I guess kind of like what to expect and like how
Yeah,
to
what to expect? How do they jump in?
navigate.
How do they get comfortable? What's the best way to
hmm
meet people, get involved, things like that?
One thing I would say, be comfortable with being uncomfortable a little bit, just like taking yourself out of like your box zone that you're kind of like used to as you're like transitioning from like the high school or transitioning from a different university as you come to UT. Like, don't be afraid to like get out there. Like Carrie said, we're going to have like a lot of different events that we're going to offer to students, and like it's going to be up to them to just take advantage to all the things that we're going to be offering. We're going to have a lot of events about social networking, so they'll be able to meet their peers and be able to do different tasks with them and like create bonds, and like especially within like these first like week and a half before classes start. That's when you'll really be able to like soak up the process of like this is who's going to be in my cohort for the next like 4 years. So like let me really get in there and like navigate my way through the system.
Absolutely. Sue Ann, kind of piggybacking off of that, as a former family member, I guess we can say, even though we know you're still very much involved, which we love. What would you say would be piece of advice for our family members as they're wanting to help their students feel just maybe a little bit less stressed or more at ease with this big kind of
Well, I
life-changing event
love
coming up?
what Antonio just said about letting kids navigate their own way. Gosh, that was great, Antonio, just in helping them to just be a little comfortable with being uncomfortable. And for so many parents, this is your first time with letting your kids leave the nest. And it, it, it's scary. It is. It's sad, and there's so many emotions that are all wrapped up in it. And I can tell you, you will survive this, and they will survive and thrive. And I guess what I think sometimes is, how when you left your child at daycare and they're screaming and they're crying, and you think they're never going to stop screaming and crying, and you step away and you come back 3 minutes later and they're not crying anymore. Well, it's kind of like that at college too. They really do manage to navigate their way. And UT is just that kind of place that does it so well. I mean, head and shoulders well. So I think that knowing that you're leaving your children in such competent hands, that it just made it all the easier. And to feel comfortable doing it is, I think, half the battle. And to let yourself be with those feelings, those little feelings of anxiety, check in when you need to, but also let them be free to explore, let them be free to make mistakes, and let them be free, as Antonio said, to navigate their way through, is probably what I found helped us the best in our situation.
Thanks, Sue Ann. Mary Leslie, I know you're always wearing your UT family member hat as well. So I didn't know if you had anything else to add on that particular topic.
No, well, I agree with everything that's been said, and just have a lot of faith and a lot of patience. We're here to help. We're here to, nurture your students and help them along the way. And we're also available anytime for any questions you might have. So reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. And encourage your students to also, right? It'll be a great experience.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. I want to go ahead. We have a handful of minutes left, and so I still want to make sure that we're monitoring the chat and getting through as many of your questions as we can. Carrie, I want to go to you here and thinking about your time transitioning to college, and thinking about maybe something now in hindsight. What's something that you wish you would have known? Like, what's something that, looking back, you wish you would have known ahead of time that might have made that transition to college just slightly smoother? What comes to mind?
Um, that's a hard question, Adam. I'm not sure. Trying to think back. I honestly think that getting involved was probably the best thing that happened to me. I was forced into, I guess, bonding. I was in marching band when I was in undergrad, and so that really honestly provided me with that friend group. Whether I wanted them to be my friends or not, I was with them all the time because of band. But it really honestly helped me get much more involved throughout my career as well, or my student career as well. I became an RA. I was also in a sorority. So I got almost too overly involved and spread myself a little thin. But I had the best time. And I honestly can't stress that enough, to find your place on campus, whether that be marching band, student organization, Greek life, a student like work position. We have so many, employment positions as well for students to find their leadership skills and to really get involved that way. And so honestly, just help your student find their home, encourage them to really get out. Studying is super important. Academics is why we're here. But if they're not going to be truly successful if they don't find that comfort as well. Like, academics is super important. We want them to find their home academically as well, but at the same time, they have to have that release at the same time. So definitely encourage them to do that.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Sue Ann, out of curiosity, was there an item that your student, when they came onto campus as a first year, was there something that they brought from home that they knew would help, or is there something now looking back that they wish they would have brought that might have helped make those initial days, weeks, months, a little easier during that first semester?
I'm not thinking of anything in particular, but I do remember we had a lot of discussion about rugs because we never could find the right size rug to adequately make that room in Morel feel comfortable. I think we did finally manage, but I do remember, and I think this is something a lot of parents do, or I can suggest doing it, is I slipped a note under her pillow without her seeing it. And I think that when she went to bed that night and probably put her hand up under the pillow and she found that, it made me feel comfortable knowing that I left her with some thoughts to help her through that first night. And she, had some of me thinking about her as we left her for the first time in a situation where she wasn't going to be home for quite some time. So, but as
you're gonna get the waterworks going here, I think.
No.
That's
No,
amazing. That's amazing.
But I will say, while I have the floor, I am really looking forward to meeting parents this weekend. So look for me. I'll have orange on. Big surprise there.
Sue Ann, kind of on that, like if we have family members who are interested in getting more involved, right? Like they want to do a version of what you and your husband were able to do during the last few years. I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb. I think I know the answer, but do you recommend that family members do that and that they engage with our parent association and other opportunities to work with other family members?
Absolutely.
Of students?
Absolutely. We just finished our first round of family ambassadors, Tennessee ambassadors. We have finished taking applications for those. We will start to take applications on rolling admissions, so to speak. After we finish through this first round, we will also start taking applications for our parent advisory board after we get through this first round. So parents can stay tuned for that. That will be an excellent way to become involved. Probably the best way to become involved right now for parents is to really read your family engagement newsletters that will come to you via email. That, I would have to say, was the single best thing that my husband and I did. And I think Mary Leslie will agree that information coming to you, hands down, gave you everything you needed to know that your children will never tell you. So you knew all the dates you needed to know. You knew everything about everything at UT. And the information was just excellent. It was concise, it was important, and it was timely. So please stay tuned to your inboxes every 2 weeks. They come like clockwork, and they are really, really important and valuable. So look for those, and then come join us as either Tennessee ambassadors or on our parent advisory council, and there'll be more information in the months to come in your parent engagement newsletters. So thanks for the PSA you just gave me.
Oh, that was great.
I appreciate it.
No,
And look for me Friday through Thursday through Saturday. I'll be around campus.
Thanks, Sue Ann. And piggybacking off of Sue Ann there, we do have our family orientation taking place the 10th to the 14th on campus during move-in. It's a free program for our family members, completely optional, very a la carte type schedule. Pick and choose what you'd like to participate in. The schedule is on the orientation website. And we sent out some communications just today about it as well. Those are our 5 largest move-in days. And so that's kind of how we got around to those dates. So I apologize if you're going to miss it. However, we are going to be recording a majority of our sessions and we'll be posting them on our website and sending those out via email in case you have to miss family orientation. So don't worry, we got you covered because we know there's lots of great information and we want to make sure that you have that as we get going here with the fall semester. All right. The last thing that I just kind of wanted to mention as folks are probably just making sure and scrambling that they have everything kind of checked off of their list. Our university housing department has a fantastic move-in website. I know our office has been getting a lot of questions about move-in and things of that nature. And so I'd encourage you to explore that site. Lindsay or Megan, if you wouldn't mind throwing the link in the chat, that'd be fantastic. And highly recommend that you kind of peruse through there. Things like immunization requirements and directions for move-in and what to bring and where to park during move-in time. Just all kind of those last minute items. So it's a great resource. Please be sure to explore that in the coming days before getting to campus to make sure that you and your student have checked everything off the list here. All right, folks, we did it. We are just at time here. So I appreciate all of our panelists, and I feel like we got through a lot of great information tonight. And again, thank you, family members, for joining us this evening and sharing your questions. If you still have questions, please reach out to campus, to whatever department. Even if you're not sure if it's the right department, just reach out, because everyone at UT is going to do whatever they can to make sure that you get connected with the right folks on campus. So there's no such thing as a silly question. We want to make sure that you and your student and your family feel as excited and comfortable and stress-free as you possibly can headed into these kind of final days of the summer as move-in quickly approaches. So Lindsay, if we can move on to the kind of final wrap-up slides here, that would be fantastic. Just a couple things to note. If you could please fill out our post-session survey. It takes literally about 5 seconds to complete. So if you wouldn't mind to just answer those couple questions for us, so that way we can improve the Family Summer Series moving forward. We've really enjoyed hosting these sessions this summer, and look forward to doing bigger and better things with them in the years to come. Family members, keep in mind that you can complete the online pre-orientation. This is one of the orientation requirements for your student. However, it's a free, optional opportunity for you to, again, get to know UT just like your student hopefully has already done. If they haven't, please encourage them to complete pre-orientation before classes begin. Of course, as Sue Ann wonderfully explained, join the Tennessee Family Association if you're interested in partaking in all the wonderful opportunities that group provides throughout the year. Even if you're not sure, join it and ask questions and figure out if that's something that you really want to figure out. If it's something that you want to do for the year to come. And then, of course, register for Fall Family Weekend. You'll see all the links right there. Registration is live. They have a fantastic schedule planned. We're really excited to bring our family members back during that weekend to hopefully allow you to explore campus even more than you already get to do during the upcoming weeks. Again, family orientation, August 10th to the 14th. Check out the orientation site for that schedule. Whew. All right, we got through it. Panelists, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You all were fantastic. Family members, we appreciate you joining again. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Everybody have a great rest of their night. Go Vols.